politically matured, and I'm using that advisedly, because it looks almost as if you cannot belong to one side and not have the other side castigate you for choosing to be. But when you look at the American landscape, I mean, a lot of these very influential personalities come out openly to declare their support
or speak for or against.
Exactly. And nobody necessarily calls them out because it is their right to belong to one side or the other. But here, even if you ask a question that goes against one side, oh, she's MPP, she's been paid. The next minute, if you're asking in favor of the NDC, oh, she's NDC.
You remember the Richard Anyagba tweet about me that I was making this platform an NDC platform, and I thought it was the most hogwash statement I had ever heard.
But it's quite interesting how we've now become so party-clad in terms of our ideologies or ideas even, because if you don't defend your party person, then you must be against. So if you don't defend something that is said in the public domain by one party person and you speak against it, then you're automatically for the other side. Sometimes you can just state the issues as it is, criticize when you need to, and do the needful, because you can't. At that point in time, it's going to get to a point where even when the right thing is being done, you can't praise it. If the wrong thing is being done, you can't criticize it.
Look, we're points in our lives in this country whether communication doesn't favor the government of the day. I don't know whether governments, whether it's MPP or NDC in the second term, whether they are jinxed. But particularly for the Nanado government, it started from 2020. 2020. The numbers from the COVID period, I think we're lucky we got COVID. Because the numbers were just not good enough. I mean, we were doing okay in 2019, you take it. But since the 2020 election, there was supposed to be, for example, the vetting. The finance minister was away. We had to wait for him for a month to come back. So every time there was something else, a budget was presented, and then there was supposed to be e-levy that was supposed to be approved. There was always something. And sometimes I believe that for all of us who are gathered at this table, and for our friends who used to work in our space and are now in the political space, they need to sometimes credit us with some sense or some level of intelligence. Because we all respectfully go to the same schools. It's not our fault that we decided to find ourselves in practicing media and asking critical questions. And if the communication of the day goes against you, it doesn't mean that anybody has been paid. Indeed, if somebody can better afford to pay all of us here, it should be the NPP that is in government and not the NDC that is in opposition. It doesn't make sense for anybody in MPP to come and tell me that, well, Roland, you're asking questions, or Berla, you're asking questions, or AJ, you're asking questions because you've been paid by the NDC. The NDC rather need money to undertake their campaigns. Do you understand? Yeah, but the thing is, we all live, and by living, we all tend to have experiential moments. And the experiential moments are not only by ourselves, they're by our friends, we get communicated to, we get stories being told. And how many times haven't you heard some stories that you wish that you could empty your bank account if you had them to do good for people? And we go to communities, and sometimes you ask yourself, if we were living in a meritorious society, did I have to cross over to be a politician before I'm successful?
Absolutely.
There are people who lived in Southern Africa, Northern Africa, or elsewhere in the developed world, and they're fine with the work they do. You can be a security man in the US, you own a house in 20, 25 years.
Thank you. And then that's the problem. If at this point, the people are saying that there's a problem, or people are complaining, it shouldn't be that someone has been paid to say it. When the problems are there, you will see it, you will feel it. So you must be very disconnected from the system in order to say that anytime people complain, they must be complaining because they've been paid to. At a point in time, you should get off your high horse and actually listen to the people on the ground. If the people are stating to the people in government that these policies are not helping us, these policies are putting us in a more difficult place, industries are speaking about it, people in positions of power are also speaking about it. At some point in time, you have to listen and actually tend to try and skew yourself towards doing what's right or what the people say, because the voice of the people is the voice of God, honestly.
It is. I agree.
Which of the gods?
But
that's why people are migrating, right?
Of course.
The registered nurses, so they tell us that between 400 and 500 people leave Ghana every month.
They leave every month,
All right?
yes.
They go to destination because why not leave? If you leave,
that's a very good question. Yes.
You go and live better.
Yes.
And it's not, look, there's stress in that environment, but they get money's worth for the work that they do.
Absolutely.
They're some of the highest paid, are they not?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Because you live there, you can put up a building as quickly as possible. Of course, the only disadvantage or opportunity cost is when you travel back home, you have to live in that house for 2 months. Or if you're not lucky, 1 month or 2 weeks. Your relatives will occupy for you.
That's if they actually build a house for you, because you could be sending money and they'll tell you they're building.
They are building and it never comes.
They'll tell you they're building, but you'll come and meet sand and stone.
No, we have to be real. These days, it's far better than before.
Oh, yeah, but it still happens.
Yeah, it does. It does happen. But there are many more people, not only families, but friends who would do you good. And you can even buy directly from from the institutions that you know. And that is why the nurses and etc. will leave. Look, if people would choose to make a choice where they know that they could have stability, why would they not leave? It makes a lot of sense to leave. Why is it that the politicians have all their kids? We speak to them all the time, and they say they're going to visit their children in the US, Canada. And then you keep marveling to yourself, oh, I've been living here with you for 20 years or 10 years. Oh, apparently your children are in Canada. Why do you put your children in the US, and Canada, and the UK?
Why do they even travel themselves to seek medical attention?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
In these developed countries, and not Kolebu and Ridge. We say we've developed Ridge Hospital. You should have the state-of-the-art facility. We're not staying here to seek medical attention because we know what the situation is.
To be opened for public use is another question altogether.
And when people are talking, they're talking from the position of fact. All the numbers that we talk about each day, the bonds that we've taken. Now we owe the private creditors 13 billion beyond what we owe the normal institutions within the Paris Club. You know, like the developed countries. We owe the private creditors 13 billion. 13, we only want and we want only 3 billion. No. We want only 3 billion. So the thing is, we're going for the 3 billion because I have to come to you, Berla, for you to see that, oh, Roland is a good man. Oh, Roland, when you give him money, he'll pay back. But hitherto, you would have said, Roland, if you give him money, you'll go and spend it on wasteful things. So it is that sort of credibility that we need. That's why we're struggling. And the reality is that people are struggling. And when you're saying the things, it's not because we manufactured and decided to. When they come and sit here, they'll start from Rollins. And Rollins had 1983 farming. Then they'll come to 1996, 97. Then they will come to the good work that was done by Kufuor, etc. And then we'll come, and then it's the reverse. Also, we'll have it the same way. So we shouldn't kid ourselves and think that when people vote, when they want access to emergency care, they don't ask for the presidential candidate that they voted for, who is in power, to come and give them that care. They don't. I don't know why for us it is a big problem when we ask, why is this not possible?
And you know, honestly, God forbid is not a public health policy. And a lot of times we almost seem to live on God forbid us getting an accident. God forbid us our families being put in a position where they will need emergency care, because we know that emergency care is not adequate. If you do a quick search on Google about abandoned hospitals or abandoned hospital projects, you will see so many different articles. The Fourth Estate put out in 2022 about 8 hospitals delayed, and this is talking about the Kumewu District Hospital, the Fomena District Hospital. There's so many different hospitals. Another quick search will show you different projects all together. Kumewu District Hospital left in ruins. Ablekuma residents calling for speedy completion of abandoned hospital. You've talked about even the Lawan, which was demolished and told it will be built up very soon. And then we are still waiting for it to be built up.
We've passed the date.
We literally
have. April, right?
We literally have.
Passed it.
And at this point in time, these are a basic need you would hope is to be fulfilled is access to medical care. And if we have billions of dollars and cities stuck in projects that we cannot finish because one thing or the other, then at this point in time, if you are flying out, yet you know that there are adequate facilities here, when completed, could give not only you, your family in power, but also the layman access to better healthcare, then really, what are we doing?
Where would you go?
You two look good. So they'll say everything is fine with you. So
It's borrowed. We always have to remind you.
In secondary school, we say laboro.
Borrowed. The hair we wear, borrowed. Makeup, sponsored. What again do you need in this world? Only because we sit on TV and we market for them. So don't think that we buy everything that we have.
Charlie. This year, unless you people run away. Good morning to you, Chairman Kojo Daniels. It's the birthday of your child, and Manasseh is celebrating 12 years today. And
nice.
you told me that, Charlie, Chairman, as well as your wife, Catherine, a beautiful family.
Yeah.
And Rate Kitchen, managed by the great woman, Chairwoman Alice Tamaklo. Charlie, great one as well. Jerry Amedro, you're saying that we are working. We are working. You are in the North Tongue constituency. Right.
We'll take a break.
We're taking a break?
Yeah, we'll be back.
We're taking a break.